I think the answer is that you take control of your own financial life and be in a position where, you're in complete control of what you do financially, and you don't have to go to a bank, right? Because I think there was an FDIC video that came out, and they said, the public probably has a lot more faith in the banking system than we do.
I almost think you'd scare the public if you put this out. Like, why are they telling me this? Should I be concerned about my bank? I think you've got to think of the unintended consequences of taking a public that has more full faith and confidence in the banking system than maybe people in this room do, that we want them to have full faith and confidence in the banking system. They know the FDIC insurance is there. They know it works. They put their money in. They're going to get their money out.
This is an FDIC guy saying this, and there's video. If you guys, I'll send you guys the video. And
please.
And then another guy says, well, we want them to know they can be bailed in, and a bank can take their money, but we don't want them to know so much that they make a run on the bank and deplete the sort of the reserves that the bank has, but they will be bailed in. Like, you should hear it, and they laugh at it.
A little bit conflicted, right? I mean, it's important that people understand they can be bailed in, but you don't want a huge run on the institution. But they're going to be. And it could be an early warning signal to the FDIC and the primary regulators when these things happen.
It should be accessible when people need to know, but I don't think you have much hope of reaching a public that doesn't have a professional need to know.
Yeah, so there.
I mean, I would too if I was in that. If I was, I'm like, it's like, what are we doing here? All right, let's just make something else up. Let's do CBDCs.
Yeah.
Please. Yeah, I got it.
Yeah. But it's a video of their meeting. And I think it's from an FDIC meeting. I can't remember, but it was it's wild what they're laughing and saying about it. So they know, right? Because bail-ins would cause a much bigger disaster than, say, a bailout. Because we've lived through a lot of bailouts, right? But when families and hardworking people have their money in the bank and then they can't get to it because now it's being used to settle a derivative debt that they went crazy on, and it didn't work out the way they thought it was that would, then it's so.
Can you kind of re-explain what a bail-in means? Because bailout is, we've seen movies about it. What is a bail-in?
So the bailout, as you said, is like the government comes in and they'll take receivership, they'll print, they'll write a bill and
they'll use our debt, our future money instead of our present money.
Yeah, they'll print it, they'll do whatever they need to do, they'll put it in receivership and take control of it and that sort of thing. But a bail-in is where the government is not involved anymore at all from a financial perspective, I think. And what they do is they use the depositors' money to settle up any problems or liabilities that the bank has. So if there's money on account that you have and that bank has a problem, they go to the depositor's money to settle any issues with the bank rather than the government stepping in. Right.
This sounds insane. Like this sounds.
It is because it's been this progression, Michael. Right. So when we first bailed out a bank, it kind of messaged to the banks like, oh, well, the government's going to step in if you screw up. So you shift over the risk to the public sector and then you privatize the profits. Right. So it's like I can't lose. Right. So if whatever I'm doing wins, I get the profits. And if I lose, the government will just step in and make me whole. Right. So now that's not the case. Now depositors will be holding the bag for anything that the banks may do that doesn't work out, as an example.
I mean, we already have fractional reserve banking. So
I was just thinking that like their leverage 100 to 1.
Yeah. I mean, everywhere you look, it's just not set up for good for the individual. It's just not. It's just all continuing to compound and leverage up money that's not real on top of not real money, right? And
so the moral of the story from what I'm hearing from you is that the bankers always win. And so it's better to be your own banker through crypto and BankX than these guys who are just playing Monopoly and gambling with your money.